All right, welcome everybody. This is Arsenal Fan Circle Sunday. It is the channel that you come to every Sunday. Okay. Want to say thank you to everyone who's watching, who will watch, and subscribe now because I know about half of you who watch the videos, watch the channel. Only about half of you subscribe. So hit that subscribe button. It's free content. All three of us are here. Four of us are here to provide free content for you every week and on a Thursday as well. So, drop a like on the video as well. Hit the subscribe. Let's try and get over 300 on this video because we got 3 points today, a huge 3 points, and we get to add 3.5%, and that is 3 points is the percentage to get of 66 points, which, funny enough, Manchester United were the team who got fourth place last year, 66 points. So 3 points is equal to 3.5%. So add that to the kitty, Gary, and we have got 18%. And you can see it on the ticker right down there, 18% towards our totals. So the other thing that's kind of funny about today, number 14 provided the 14th attempt, we got the win against Manchester United. It's been 2006 since we got a win at Old Trafford. So we got to celebrate all of these points that come in. And I'm going to bring in Gundon now. Mahir is here, and late to the party, Mahir. But you know what? You're the one that rants about Manchester United the most. So I'm going to give you. You're looking a lot like Lacazette there. I'm going to give you first talk about the result tonight and how you feel about getting 3 points. Mahir, take it away.
Hi, panel. How are you guys? Tony, Stan, Eddie.
Hello, Stan.
Hey, I'm going to be very polite today. Man got rolled in a spliff. Man got smoked. What do you got to say now? What are all the Man United, where's the energy? Where's the energy now?
Here. The energy's here.
Man talking shite. They can't say nothing. They can't say nothing. All the Man United supporters, I personally went and took a picture of Aubameyang doing an L and handed it out to everybody. All they need to do is go check their DMs and then come back to me and tell me how was that.
Okay. Any more? Is that it?
Short rant.
Listen, that was the opposite of a rant. That is like pent up frustration.
No, I'm putting out.
And I got to follow that up with going to Stan.
Yeah.
What do you think of that, Stan? I thought that was a little bit underwhelming. I was expecting a little bit more from Mahir there.
Yeah, it was.
No, look, I mean, yes, underwhelming, but I'm like more happy, man. I'm more happy for us than I am about bantering them. They can all go check their DMs. There's an L right there, all waiting for all of them. All of the loudmouth. They want to chat shit whole day, every day, all day. They can't say nothing to us now. It's absolutely done.
Stan, I would say there's a little bit of pent-up frustration there coming out. What do you think?
No, fair play, because it was a very well-deserved 3 points. And I'm really glad that I got my prediction wrong because, going into the Leicester game, that was a game that I was confident that we should be able to take all of the 3 points. So after that result, and Man United sort of getting a little bit of an upturn and scoring goals going into this game, I thought that we were not gonna. I thought we'd be lucky to nick a draw. So to get the 3 points, I was really pleased. And in the first half, I thought that we controlled the game really well, but we missed a few chances that I thought, is that going to come back and haunt us? So the last 9 minutes, that's including the 4 minutes that were added on. It really was, all hands to the pump. And I'm really glad that we were able to hang on, that we were able to keep our concentration, not make a costly individual mistake to allow them back in.
Yeah, exactly. Want to give a shout out to the assembled, Stephen Denham, Stefan's here, and Alex from Cannon Fodder as well. And yeah, I wanted to give Tony a little chance to eat his sandwich, and it's a bear sandwich because he was wrestling bears during his power outage during the week, so he was able to stock up his freezer. The sandwich was double the size it was a few minutes ago.
Was the size
now. So let me go to Gary next for your analysis of the game. Just a brief overview, Gary, what this means to us. And yeah, we beat a very poor United side, but you have to beat what's put in front of you, right, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, they might be poor in certain areas, but they looked like they had a good attack on them, right? And we were able to basically squash that today, and that's what we've been doing to most teams. They don't get that many chances against us, and we did that today, and we held on. We were able to get luck on our side today. We didn't get the shots. We didn't put in shots in ourselves, but we did. We got a penalty. The penalty went our way today. In the past, we've seen it go the other way when Man U's been playing. So I'll take it. We did good. I mean, we had some really good stellar performances today from the team as a whole, and even some individuals. So I liked it. I'd like to see it again.
Welcome in, Mr. Bungle. Mr. B in the chat, what's cooking, people? And Tony's got himself a bear sandwich down there in the bottom right-hand corner. So we're playing a 3-2 formation today. 3 on top and two at the back here. Gun the News and Tony. So, Tony, give us your overview of the game, what you thought.
I like the way we started off the game. I like the half Saka had, and then the second half is mainly defense. Gabriel was doing a great job. Party was doing a good job. And El Mini. It's nice to have our first win there in 15 years and our first road win versus the Big Six in 5 years.
Yeah. As Stefan says here, not really a fitting tribute to Nobby Stiles from United because it wasn't a free-flowing game. Who would play with passion? Rest in peace, Nobby Stiles. So I want to say rest in peace, Nobby Stiles. And also rest in peace, Sean Connery.
Yo, guys, is everything okay?
James Bond. Yeah, just Nobby Stiles, a World Cup winner with England. Am I here?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm really
catching up to us.
connection. Is everything okay? I mean, not a fitting tribute.
Yeah.
At all. But I mean, you only play what's given in front of you, and in my personal opinion, I think Thomas Partey. I mean, even Mohamed El Iniesta in the midfield. I mean, with the forward, I don't know how many times he just darted forward and got into the box. I mean, come on. Like, it was just brilliant. A shift like that is what's needed. When you play games like Stan said, when you play games like Leicester, you need that sort of energy around you. Like, where's that El Nini most of the days? I want to see that El Nini play with Partey. Because then you don't need somebody like maybe a liability like Granit Xhaka, for example, or Ceballos just not cutting it like for certain games or a lot of games, you could say, if that's the way you think.
Yeah.
And Gabriel, I mean, what a signing!
Yeah.
Really, really, what a signing!
Well, let's get into it. Let's start with defense because we talked about this on Thursday night. The project is, I believe, we're ending stage 1 here, and stage 1 was to get defensive stability, and we're going to talk about stage 2, which I think we saw some progression today in terms of our midfield. I think we got our midfield right. Our forwards still a little bit on the conservative side for me, Willian, Aubameyang, and Lacazette. But Stan, I'll go to you first for the defensive stability. What did you think of our defense today? Another few more stats. The first win in 29 attempts away from home against the top 6. First win away in 5 years. And this season we've got 2 clean sheets, and we have the best defensive record in the league at present right now. 2 away wins and 2 home wins. And we only got 4 away wins the whole of last season.
I really like what I'm seeing from our defence at the moment, and there's a couple of bright points in there. For example, Gabriel. I mean, the start to his Arsenal career so far has been, nothing short of like magnificent. To be fair, I think he's had something like 3 Man of the Match awards already, which is pretty solid for a centre back to be coming out with the Man of the Match awards, consistently. And you have to keep pinching yourself and reminding yourself that he's only 22 years old.
Yeah.
So there's, if this is the start of it, there's obviously going to be so much more to come. But the key to it now is to try and find him a defensive partner, someone that he can bed in with and play with week in, week out. And who's, obviously maybe long term the plan was maybe a William Saliba, but you can't throw him in there now because I think someone like Gabriel is going to need someone as a little bit as a mentor figure. There probably will be times when he's going to need a little bit of guidance through games and he's going to need someone experienced next to him. So who's that going to be? I don't think maybe you'd give that job to Rob Holding, David Luiz, but then obviously, you have a lot of people that say that in a flat back four, David Luiz is a little bit out of sorts in that role. So it's going to be interesting to see how he sets us up. And we've got a dearth of centre-backs that we could choose from, but it's going to be interesting to see who he matches up with Gabriel. Also, the fullbacks as well. I think our fullbacks are really good. And again, Hector Bellerin keeps showing me that, for me, I'm not saying that we can't upgrade on him, but for right now, what we have, I still think he's the best right back at the club. He makes a lot of attacking play. He gets back when he needs to, and also as well, Kieran Tierney, the same on the other side as well. So I was a little bit surprised to see that we went with the 3 at the back again, because the last couple of games he went with a 4. So again, for me, it's just going to be interesting now to see who he picks to be the partner for Gabriel.
Yeah, there's lots to get into there, Gary. I think that Rob Holding played quite well today. I think outside of David Luiz, he might be the foil with Gabriel. And I think that Holding now has gone above Mustafi, Colonel Mustard, in the pecking order. Because even when there was a possibility Rob Holding was coming off, Xhaka was the one who was getting ready to come on. And I had that little bit of worry about that, putting Xhaka in at the back. I still don't understand why Arteta's doing that when you have a recognised defender, even though it is Colonel Mustard that's going to go in there. And the other thing as well, Bellerin is probably shading it, but I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles could probably come into the mix as well. But yeah, and Graham, I'm reminded of Graham Brooks, who came on with us for the Fulham game. He talked about all of the contributions. Hector Bellerin, he's the only one who carries the ball into the box, and he is one of the ball carriers in our side. So, Gary, given what Stan said and what I said, what do you think about the whole back four, Gary?
Yeah, I mean, I think for now, this is what we got, and I liked what I saw today. They looked really good out there. They were cohesive. There was a lot of cohesiveness there. I didn't feel like they made, I don't feel like I was like worrying about them today as far as, either them being some gaps there or anything like that. It was a solid game defensively. All 11 players looked really good today. The backlining definitely included with that. This is what I think is what Arteta's wanted, and I think he got it. I mean, I know Holding isn't, I think, at the caliber as Gabriel in terms of their talent and their play back there, but I think he gives us a better chance right now, than the Luiz, and we'll see what happens when some of the other players get healthy. But I think Holding, we got to actually see Holding, right? It's been seems like he's always had something, little hiccups getting back into the game. Hopefully he's able to, continue and be able to play next week and us kind of grow and progress from what we played today and see us play even better than we can, right? I think there's, I like the game, but I feel like, when we need to, we're going to have to progress. And it's going to start with all 11 players getting a little bit better each game that we play. And that's been my mantra is kind of, I want to see little improvements from one game to the next. So whatever little improvements we can make, I like to see that. I like to also see some continuity between games, especially the Premier League games. So I'm hoping to see either close to, if not the same 11 going forward for a little while, so we can kind of see how they can get better from game to game. Definitely, like I said, the back line looked really good. I think we got what we wanted out of this game. We held them to under 10 shots today, and that's good for the defense, the scheme that we have. So looking forward to seeing it get better and better as we move along. On that note, as I saw Hector play today, I was like, "Oh, how's Ainsley going to get in the game now?" Right? Because I always thought it was between the two of them. One of them will have to set, and Hector looked really good today. Going forward, he definitely gives us something different than Ainsley, and that's what we got today. We don't get the penalty. I don't think we'll get a penalty like that with Ainsley. He doesn't seem to get into the box as much. But Hector, he played really well today. He does his little thing once in a while where you have to, he gets himself out of position. But all in all, he had a really good game today, and I like to see that. I think put enough pressure on them that they couldn't put any back on him, and we looked good doing it today.
What we saw today with Hector Bellerin was, those expansive runs with the what's called, I guess, the inverted midfield overlapping to the inside. I will get into the penalty a little bit later, but we just wanted to cover our defensive stability. Go to Tony next, and Tony, you're going to have to give us a man in the match a little bit later as well. Gabriel is Darren's man in the match, but what do you think of the defensive stability? We're in a good position right now with Gabriel as well. Now, not ideal to have both centre backs on yellow cards after 27 minutes. But what were your overall thoughts on the back five, back three, back four, whatever you want to call it?
I like Gabriel in the middle. He was solid back there. And I was always worried in seasons past with Holding and Bellerin both playing on the right side, but with Gabriel in the middle, it seemed like we were solid the whole time. Tierney was getting forward, doing what he does best. Bellerin was going forward. He still doesn't do enough on defense for me. Neither does Holding. Really.
But he won the game. He did win the game with that run into the box. So we can't nitpick his performance today, right?
Nope. He gets a pass.
Gabriel is that kind of defender. We've seen him against Antonio at West Ham, muscle him. He likes the physical contact, and he got himself a yellow card after about 27 minutes. Mayer, what do you think overall of the defensive stability for Arsenal today?
You know what? Personally, I know a lot of us have called for Ainsley or Mainsley to be starting ahead of Bellerin. But I mean, Gabriel is looking outstanding with all the man of the match performances, and we just pray that it gets better and better. You know something funny, guys? Somebody was actually saying Partey is the type of person, like he might lose the ball or misplace a pass, right?
Yeah.
And he's thinking to himself, "Hey, wonder if I can go get it back." And he actually goes and gets ball repossessed. It's beautiful to watch, man.
I hope that trade is I hope that trade is something other players pick up on, is that, you know what, just because you lose the ball doesn't mean the play's over. Doesn't mean your role, your responsibilities are over. You can turn it around, turn a little mistake and turn it around into a positive, and he did that consistently today. I like to see that. I mean, play's not over just because I lost it.
And have you noticed that, Stan? Have you noticed that Brian Leno seems to settle down a little bit more because you've got a defensive structure in front of you? It's going to help you as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I thought again, Bert Leno had another good game for me. A very important save that he made. I can't remember who it was that made the shot, but he made a low down important save. Yeah, Rashford.
Okay. Yeah. So what? Let me.
With some, but
Let me start. Go around the house with everyone. Cast your mind to when the team selection came out, Stan. So we'll start with you. What did you think of the team selection when it came out? Happy, reasonably happy, not happy?
The first thing that came into my mind was Nicolas Pepe, and what's going on with Nicolas Pepe. I mean, he did score in the last game, although he didn't have a great game, but there just doesn't seem to be any kind of consistency with him in the way that the manager's not giving him an opportunity to have some consistency in the team. He seems to be in and out, in and out. So that was the first thing that came into my mind. And obviously, he fancies if Willian is fit, it seems that he's always going to get that place now.
Interesting.
Also, as well, the other thing as well was the omission of Xhaka. That was the other thing that I noticed as well. And it didn't really surprise me because I think, if you remember, the first time that Thomas Partey played for us, he came on for about 8 minutes, and it was Xhaka was the one that got hooked.
Yeah.
And in the following game, I think it was Xhaka started on the bench. So if this is how Xhaka is going to be used now as more of a squad player, then I'm all for that. Because I don't think that he can be a useful squad player, but I like the way now that maybe he's not going to be a starting partner, next to Partey, because I actually like what I'm seeing with El Nene. And again, for me, El Nene, that's at least another 7 performance. He does since he's been back in the team. I don't remember him giving less than a 7. He's had a couple of 8s as well in there, and that's pretty solid.
Yeah. So follow that up by going to Tony, because you did mention the key word there, Xhaka, Stan. It always triggers Tony here, Davy Crockett.
Yeah, I'm always happy when he's starting on the bench. That's where he should be. He slows the game down too much slide passes, too much back passes, kills any tempo or fluidity we have. And that's the main thing in the first half. We're so fluid, go in every direction, and it's what we should be doing. I think El Nene should be getting the nod over Saka every game.
Yeah, he's definitely. I think he's definitely elevating himself up the pecking order to be the next midfield player on the team sheet after Thomas Partey. In my opinion, my thoughts on the team selection was that Arteta has got defensive stability. I'm going on about this now. Stage 2 is we got to fix the next thing. So after you get your defense right, you look at your midfield now. Tony and Gary was with me last week on the watch along for Leicester, and Granit Xhaka, Ceballos, and Partey did not all work together. As you had mentioned on the same old Arsenal stand, he seemed to get bypassed a lot in that game, and that was very true. So we needed to mix something up. I wanted to see something different there. I was very happy to see El Nene in there because I knew, like you said, like we've all been saying, that El Nene will sacrifice himself for the team and will do what's right for the team. And he makes the team work. He's one of those players that sort of adapts his game to suit everyone else on the pitch and makes everyone else look good. He's not that flashy kind of player. I'm happy we still have him in the squad that he's playing. Now, going forward, I wanted, like we said, I wanted maybe Pepe in there, a Reece Nelson or a Joe Willock that we saw on Thursday night, who played really, really well. The sort of unpredictability that we need in the team. But Willian played quite well today, actually. I provided the pass for Bellerin. But who do I go to next? Did I go to Tony? Are we talking about midfield? No, we're talking about the formation. Who hasn't spoken yet about the team formation or strategy or selection today?
I guess I can talk. I guess I'll talk. Yeah, I mean, when I looked at the lineup, I like the changes. Right, Holding. We were hoping that when he's healthy, he gets in. So that was good to see. Pepe not starting. I wasn't too surprised by that. I felt like his first half in the last game he played just didn't showcase the skills that we know he has. I think he let them dictate to him what was going to happen. I mean, he stuck to his guns and stayed on his left foot and never wanted to even to open himself up and go down the right side just to give a little space. I would have liked to see him do that, especially against a team like Dundalk, where I think he's the better talent and can showcase his skills there. If he needs to work on that, that would be the perfect game to do it, right? And he didn't even try. I don't think he tried. And that's disappointing. You put him in positions to work on the skills that you don't that the Premier League teams will sit on and just make sure you can't punish them with the left. And he didn't use it, and I expected him to sit and miss it. Willock and Nelson played really well. I didn't expect them to play today, and it wasn't surprising when they weren't even on the bench. I think hopefully that's a change that we'll see going forward, that those players that are showcasing them, are playing in those midweek games, gets the opportunities to play on the weekends as well. I think they're doing exactly what they need to do, I think, to showcase, just like when Saka and Martinelli were playing in those midweek games. They showcased their skills, and they were able to, convert it into the same thing that we saw in the Sunday weekend games in the Premier League. So,
because Gary, if they're playing well on Thursday, and they're not even having an opportunity to get into the league team on a Sunday, where's the incentive for the player to play well on a Thursday night?
Yeah. They need to. Hopefully,
Joe Willock and Reece Nelson must have felt very disappointed today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, because I also feel like Arteta has a plan which is a lot slower than ours. Right, his plan goes a lot slower than ours. I mean, we saw some good things from those players. So we're hoping that shows. And I think I guess he likes it to season a little bit before he then goes in and starts, cooking with them. So I think that's why I'm not too surprised that, we'll see going forward from week to week if those players seem to get more, get on the bench, maybe even get some starts in there as those games, we lighten our load. I think we've had a tough set of games. They're not getting any easier. And I don't think, based on what I saw in that Southampton game, that any game is going to be easy for the ones that we need, are going to be easy this year. So I think they're going to get a good play when they come in. We're going to have. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. That Thursday game, just like, wow, we have decent players, that can show their same skills, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like I said, the 11 that I saw, Willian, he didn't impress today. I think he may have got hurt, and that kind of slowed him down.
In the first couple of minutes,
yeah, I think that may have slowed him down. And he, and Pepe, the door's open. The door's open. If you want to take that spot, I think it's there for you to take. I mean, I think the youngsters want it, but I think they're getting held back a little bit by the coach, which is, I think, planned. Pepe is, he's on the bench, and he didn't come on today. When we may have needed it. I don't think that's an option for Arteta right now, is when we maybe need to, get a goal, that he brings him in. And we could have probably used that today at one point. If we didn't get the penalty, we would have been looking to maybe hopefully get a shot, some shots, some more attacking, because we started to get away from that in the second half, like what happens in most games, right? We have a really good first half, and in the second half, the other teams kind of put their foot down and put their stamp on and try on the game. So he's
coming to you, Mahir. Yep, you're next, Mahir. Go ahead.
So like I said, the 11 didn't surprise me as much. I mean, hopefully, it's answered some questions for Arteta, and we see progress. I mean, I do expect changes. I don't expect formation changes yet, but I do expect changes, hopefully, based on this game. And we'll see.
Yeah. And the caption below is what I said out Thursday night. Obviously, the question was answered today, and he didn't really change tact. Those Europa players, Joe Willock and Reece Nelson. Reece Nelson, if fans want a Jack Grealish type player, Reece Nelson is the closest player we have to a Jack Grealish, in my opinion. I'm not saying he's the same player, Mahir. He's the closest thing we have in the squad, So, Mahir, what do you think of the formation and the team selection today?
Look, team selection, I was quite happy with. The admittance of who, I've called trash multiple times. I've said he doesn't actually belong in an Arsenal shirt. Gary, going off what you said, I'd like to ask Stan and Tony what they think. Do you guys think the admittance of young players for specific games is a good thing. And like like with Pepe not coming on today, do you think maybe bringing him on would have made us more vulnerable, maybe to the counter attack, or do you think that Partey and El Nini were just that animalistic that they would have been able to still control the game the same way we did few about an hour or half an hour when the game ended ago?
Tony?
Yeah, go Stan.
Well, I just think that Mikel Arteta is picking a team. I don't think it matters what you do in a certain game. In certain games, he knows who he's going to pick for his league games. Willian is someone that I don't see Willian, for example, making way for Nicolas Pepe. But Gary framed it really well. If you look at the game like the Dundalk game, I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, this is a game where if you're a young academy guy that's on the fringes of the first team, or whether you're the record signing of the club who's having trouble getting into the side, this is a perfect game for you to showcase what you can do. And if you can't get yourself up for it and showcase what you can do in that kind of a game, and no disrespect to Dundalk, then I have to ask the question whether you're actually going to have a career at Arsenal. And I think Mikel Arteta was looking at that, although and you can probably say that's why Nicolas Pepe didn't get into the squad. But then on the flip side, there were a couple of players in there that shone and played really well. But if you're going to put Willock in the side and you're going to put, say, Reece Nelson in the side, who are you going to leave out?
True.
Do you know what I mean? Who are you going to leave out? That means you're going to be leaving out Nicolas Pepe and Willian and Reece Nelson, because they're the two that would usually take up that spot. And then who are you going to leave out for Willock? Saka?
Yeah. So I would if he had the bravery to go 4-2-3-1, I would have gone 4 at the back, and then that allows Joe Willock to come in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're dialing your defensive stability back then to risk 4 at the back to allow Joe Willock to come into the team. You know, that's a little bit of bravery I wanted from Arteta. Now, I wrote this phrase down. It's like he's slowly uncorking. You know, you have a box of a bottle of minerals or soda. You're slowly uncorking that. You don't want the fizz to get all over you. You're so slowly uncorking the attacking intent of the team. But I want him to do a little bit quicker. And Gary said he's doing it, but he's not just doing it at the pace that the fans want to see. You know, so very true.
Yeah, he's got a plan. I think we can see it. I don't think we like it. But I think he feels more comfortable on his plan because he can, he doesn't want to have to change it and go back, right? I mean, I think hopefully that's what he's doing. I think he figures that, he hopefully looked at this game, saw some progress on a lot of spots, and figures out the gaps that he needs to fill. And then moves forward with that. I mean, I expect this weekend when we see the youngsters play again, I expect them to play the same way, And then now that they've gone out there and they performed, and I have a feeling they feel like they may have left some things out there, right? They may have left some chances, maybe some goals, maybe some points in the game where they should have put a little bit extra into whatever they were doing. Expecting those games to look like team players that are like, you know what, Arteta, yeah, you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to get a shirt too, right? Because I think they're showing that they might deserve it. So other people are gonna have to step up as well.
I guess if you're not invested in a player, and I'm not necessarily invested in any of these players. I mean, Stan has talked about this before. We can't get invested in any of the players. There's probably a handful of 5 or 6 players we absolutely want to be in the team. But for me, it's Bellerin, and I got to put some respect on his performance today. Looking through my notes, so he starts off on the 15th minute with that cross. It's played into him by Partey, and he flashes across. He flashes across the box, and Aubameyang almost gets onto it. So we almost have a goal there after 15 minutes. I thought it was a very even game. First 15 minutes, first 20 minutes. And then United come into it a little bit, and So Stan, just take us into the first 20 minutes, and we'll go around talking about that. And I was also Stan. What I was doing was I was having a Mike Dean watch party. After 22 minutes, I was like, "Okay, so far!" Exclamation mark.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of games back for me, what I noticed was for the first 40 minutes, what game was it? I think it was 2 games back. The final ball was poor. We always had trouble with the final ball. So having nice patterns of play, moving up the pitch, getting players into some really good opportunities in the box, and then that final killer pass would never make it. Or if the final ball was going to be a shot on goal, it would just go over. And today I saw improvement on that. You know, the final ball, we were getting the final balls to who they needed to get to. But, you know, Hector Bellerin, I thought he had a very good game today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a very good game. He's got a knack of getting himself into that inside channel and helping to be there for maybe the pass before the assist to make things happen. But we have to stop letting him take throw-ins. This is the second time now that I've seen him get pulled up for a bad throw-in. I don't know what's going on there.
I'm looking at the TV screen, the Peacock I have here, and I want to say, NBC Sports, shame on you, because you tease Arsenal, Manchester United fans on NBC, and then you say, "Hey, go and look at Peacock and go pay for this every month." So shame on you, NBC. But I'm looking at Tottenham; they were winning 1-0, and now it's 1-1. Stan.
Who are they playing?
Brighton. They're at home to Brighton.
Oh, good.
63 minutes.
Fantastic.
I also saw a little bit more of Thomas Partey today, a little bit more of what he's all about and what he can do. And he's quite a good ball carrier as well. There was a couple of times where he moved the ball, and also that shot that he took was pretty good. Unfortunately, it was just I think it took a bit of a deflection, didn't it? I think off of someone. But
I mean, they got a goal kick from it though.
I'm enjoying seeing him coming more into the team as well. But again, in the first half, we just sometimes lack some of the chances that we get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been an argument, hasn't there, that we've been lacking creativity. But I'd actually, you know, could sort of counter that and say that we have been creating chances. We've just not been able to finish them.
True.
In the last few games, it seems to me that I see a lot of chances are just going wild and going missing, you know? Yeah. Whether it be Lacazette, Aubameyang, there's been a few. Saka has missed a couple of chances. I mean, today as well, when Willian hit the crossbar, you know, that would have been a nice. That would have been a nice goal as well. We're just missing a little bit of as Arsene Wenger would say, a little bit of quality. You know,
super quality.
That little bit at the end is that we're just missing that.
He would only buy super quality.
Yeah, I think also, you know, we are getting good looks and good chances, but I think our opportunities are really small too, right? I think we're one of the worst teams in terms of scoring opportunity shots, really, in games.
We're at the bottom of the league for that.
So I feel like, you know, the chances we are getting are probably the normal ones that we would usually get, but then we kind of need to double up on that, right? And that gives us better opportunities as well. I mean, I kind of always had this in my head that a lot of times we're just so content on making the next pass that we don't even think sometimes that, you know what, maybe I can take a shot. I mean, that Partey shot is one of those where, you know what, he saw an opportunity, the ball was right where he wanted, and he took it. It looked really good.
We want to do that 2 or 3 times a game.
Yeah, I mean, we got that, and then we should have, you know, our forwards also. I mean, like I said, they did good, but I you know, we need to double up our number of shots as well, right? Mm-hmm. We can't go 30, 40 minutes with just one shot. That's not going to help us as far as you know, kind of you have a really strong defense, and then you have nothing to show for it because you're not able to turn that into shots, much less goals, right? So we work really hard in the defensive end, and we also need to translate in some offensive, you know, chances for us as well. I mean, so that's kind of what, hopefully, you know, I think that's where we're getting. I mean, now we're getting opportunities. We're actually in the box. Actually, you know, they had to foul us today, you know, to stop us. So I'm looking, you know, I think also our opportunities, we need to create them sometimes ourselves.
Can I just say as
Gary,
well?
but that's exactly what it is. You know? Sorry, Stan. But that's what it is. Sometimes we get a ball, and instead of passing, we take a shot. Or instead of taking a shot, we do one extra pass, and it just goes in. It ends up being not an opportunity or wild, you know, it just ends up going out of play. I mean, we really do need to hone in on that as well. Sorry, Stan.
I was just going to say the assembled talks about Martinelli and centre forward, and if he was anybody else, I think under Mikel Arteta, I would worry how Martinelli is going to get himself into the team, because Mikel Arteta does seem to be favouring more established heads. But Martinelli, for me, seems the kind of player that if he gets games in cup games, whether it be Europa Cup, FA Cup or Carabao Cup, he is a sort of player that will score goals. And I think he's a sort of player that will force the question. Do you know what I mean? If he comes back from his injury and he can continue how he was, you play him, he's going to score goals, and it will get to the stage where you have to have him, in and around the Premier League team.
Yeah, he does the same thing he did last year.
Seeing him come back.
Yeah, I think if he does the same thing he did last year, it will be fine, right? Based on where we are today. And if he's playing with with those other youngsters, I think they're going to look really dangerous on the attack, right? If he's playing with them to start, to get him back into the feeling of playing with Arsenal again, that's going to be a welcome sight to see when he's back healthy and playing. So yeah.
So let's finish out. I'll go to Tony next. Let's finish out the rest of the first half. We get to 22 minutes, like I said. Mike Dean, watch. Everything's going great. He seems to be an unbiased referee to me, which is what you want, right? So, Tony, on 24 minutes, you get Rob Holding yellow card on Pogba. A little bit of an unfortunate, but it's the yellow card. And then 2 minutes later, Gabriel for a shirt pull on Rashford.
Yeah, I thought Holding should have got a yellow before that one. I didn't think that one was much of a yellow, but he was sloppy in challenges before that.
You like to see that, though, where the player is actually working the referee a little bit and like, okay, ref, I know I did that, but, let me off on this occasion. It's very early in the game. I accept I got it. It was a foul, but don't give me a yellow card. And then he got it in the 24th minute. And then Fred has been booked already. In the 33rd minute, he fouls Partey. And at this point in time, I'm like, Mike Dean, you knew that was a yellow card, but you also knew Fred was on a yellow card. So you were not going to make that decision. You were not going to send Fred off on the 33rd minute. But it's kind of balanced out because Gabriel, already in the yellow card, he makes a foul. So I'm kind of relieved at that point in time, Tony. We'll call that quits there between red card decisions. And then to close out the half, we played quite well in this half. And as Stan said, or somebody said, Willian clipped the top of the bar, and we probably, and to cap the half off as well, Saka has a free header in the 6-yard box. He's got to do better with that.
And Nuba, clear chance. Like I said, we had the fluidity and ball movement we wanted, but we didn't have the end product. Lacazette gets the ball and gets clipped away by the defense there. That would have been a goal.
Yep. Yeah, he does that fresh air shot. So you think, what's he doing there? But it actually gets nicked away from him. And a little bit later, we're going to talk about at the end of the game, the triple deflection. It goes up. If you notice that, it goes off Tierney. It goes off, who else? Defender, Gabriel, I think. And it goes off Berletto's face onto the post and out. We got lucky on that one. But if you're going to win 1-0 away from home for the first time in 5 years against top 6 team, you're going to need that kind of luck. So, Mahir, just talk about Saka's open header toward the end of the half. And you're on mute there. I'm sure you know that, right? So, and Willian clipping the top of the bar.
I mean, wow.
Come on, can you bring some energy? We got 3 points today. Let's bring some energy. And there's a delay here.
I mean, 3 points was most vital. But that header, if we have taken our chances clinically, I mean,
Yeah.
the really it was an open header, and we really wish it would have gone in because, I mean, these youngsters are doing so well and they deserve the credit that they are getting because it's constant. Consistency is everything. We have said this many times on the podcast, and I'm sure everybody has heard us on that. I mean, what more can you say aside from eventually getting that penalty later on, in which we shall discuss? I mean,
Yeah.
the game winning penalty, but we're taking our chances. It could have ended up 2-0, 3-0. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Gary, we could have gone in at least 1-0 up. Saka's header, Willian just clips the top of the bar, and what's a great shot. So yeah, very unlucky. But do you say unlucky to Willian because he's got a lot of goal to shoot at there?
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, we're playing with slim margins here, right? We had I think 8 goals, 8 shots in the game, and you're talking about those 2 or 3 chances that we had. So they're far and few between that we get them. So the fact that we're getting close, I mean, we've seen Saka with a header be able to cleanly put it wherever he wants. So the more chances we get, I think we'll make the luck go our way. We didn't. To some degree, we got lucky on defense a couple of times, but I think we pretty much controlled most of this game the way we wanted to and made our own luck. So I'll take that every day.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tottenham has scored in the 73rd minute. They are 2-1 up. Ray Anderson, what I would like is to build on this, but for now we can shout at the top of our voices. And Stan, the commentator said, Mikel Arteta is first Arsenal manager to beat Manchester United twice since the great Herbert Chapman. So, good company up there.
Was it Herbert Chapman? I can't remember which one it was.
Herbert Chapman.
Was it Herbert Chapman? Yeah, that's some achievement, right?
It's tempered. It's tempered by saying Manchester United are not the team that they used to be, right?
Well, you can only. I mean, they had a lot of names out there today. Let's not forget at the end of the day. I mean, some of the money that they've spent. I mean, they've got a central defender that cost them £80 million. Let's not forget that. Pogba. Paul Pogba was a huge signing for them.
Yeah, and Rashford also was playing. He was coming in playing pretty well, right? I mean, Rashford. When we started getting those yellows, I was kind of thinking to myself, he maybe he sees the blood in the water, and he's gonna bite soon because having our center backs, our 2 key center backs back there with yellows was a little bit worrisome, right? A little concern there for me, anyways. And we were able to squash that threat. I mean, I don't think we've heard much from him again after that. I mean, not as much as you've seen in the past. So I know coming into the game, everybody's like, you know what, man, you looked really good in their last game out. 5 goals. Maybe they're gonna come crashing down and not look the same. And I think that was more on us than on them not having a good day. I think we actually did what we wanted, and that's how it looks when we win, right? I mean, we're going to hopefully improve, and that'll be both on the defense and offensive side. So it'll look more in our favor going forward.
Yeah, and Stan, I was a little bit worried when Danny Van de Beek was coming on because I was thinking this is perfect. He's going to come on now, a player that possibly could have gone to Arsenal. He's going to come on and possibly score a goal against us.
Didn't he hit the post?
Yep.
He hit the post, didn't he?
I think he's the one who hit that ball, and it ricocheted off of Tierney's boot, a little bit harder off of Gabriel, and fully onto Leno's face, which is a save for all you goalkeepers out there. Onto the post and back out.
I mean, I really, everybody knows I'm a big fan of Donny van der Beek, and I thought that for what they paid for him, I thought it was a bargain. But I mean, he can hardly get into the team, can he? He's coming on. Up until that point, I think he'd only featured for like 16 minutes as a substitute for Man United. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for me, I think he's in over his head a little bit. But I hope he stays there. Because the way that they play at the moment with Man United, you know, they can win a couple of games, and then they'll just have a couple of really bad ones as well. There's no consistency.
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
no
and
consistency with them.
Stan, people were gassing United up for a 5-0. I tweeted, you know, every game is different. You can't just say Arsenal's going to lose 5-0 or 3-0 or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, every game's different. You have to approach. You start at 0-0 every game. You don't start 5-0 down, you know, and I think we're starting to see a new mentality in our team. Gabriel is bringing that. Tierney's bringing that. Got a few new people in here. Tell the truth. Thanks for joining us. And Gunnar Eddie, slap a subscribe if you like the podcast. A steering wheel has gone missing in the Manchester area. If found, please return to Mr. Solskjaer. Gary, do you think that Ole will be sacked? I personally don't think so at this point.
I don't think so. I think they've got a lot invested in him. I mean, he's, you know, they're good and bad days. Today was a bad day for him. I mean, they have, like, you know, like we said, I think they have the players. Maybe they're just not playing them all at the same time. Same thing for us, right? We feel like we've got a good 11, but we don't get to see it every time. So maybe he'll change. But you know what? We got the win today, so we won't have to worry about them for a little while.
Yeah, could have been El Neni, yeah.
As one of my friends like to say, I like what he's doing with the squad, right? And keep it up, you know. So if that's what we're going to get, you know, and they're going to have some deficiencies out there and we can take advantage of it, then, you know, so be it. We should, and we did today. So
yeah, Ray Anderson, you're right. It came off of Tierney, then El Neni, who had a great game. And I think next we're going to go to man of the match with Tony as well, and then off of Leno's face. So, but we did quite well to snub out the attack of Greenwood, who's a good young player, and Rashford. Ray Anderson, I love the mentality of Arsenal, but we want to see it all through the team. That's true. And I think we're starting to see that in midfield. Now, Tony knows that Granit Xhaka will be in the team at some point in time again. It's a squad game, Tony, and you will see Granit Xhaka back in the team. But Tony, let me know what your man in the match was for today.
Hopefully.
And you know what, Tony, you're not allowed to say Mike Dean.
To me, there's 3 players on 8. Says El Neni, Partey, and Gabriel. But what Gabriel did defensively in the second half, to me, gives him a man of the match.
There you go, Stan. Yet another man in the match for Gabriel.
Who actually was given the man of the match? Do we know? Like officially, was it not Aubameyang?
I don't know, but if anyone knows that, let us know. I mean, what did Aubameyang do? He played quite well. He scored a penalty, but did he do anything else?
I thought Gabriel had a very good game.
Yeah.
But Aubameyang?
I thought Aubameyang had Gabriel had a very good game, and I also thought El Neni as well had a very good game.
Yeah. I think El Neni is a great addition to our midfield. What do you think, Mahir?
My man of the match would have to be Partey, because I mean, with all the hype, we do need to chill out. I mean, the next Solskjaer, the next Vieira, I mean, that's a bit heavy right now. But like, I just love his attitude and what he was providing for the team in attacking sense, going forward, and in defensive sense. Like I just said, you know, when I was saying he's the type to think, oh, I just lost the ball, I just gave away the ball. I wonder if I can get it back. And he actually goes, and a few seconds later, the ball's back with our possession. I mean, come on. Let's hope the consistency remains like that with the whole entire team. They must see that mentality and say, wait, oh, I love that. Why don't I gravitate towards that and become more, how would you say, an all-round player?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what AWL means. Is that all week long, or just anyone else know that?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the things that like I said, my finalists for man of the match were Gabriel, Hector, and El Neni today. I mean, I like I said, I'm usually hard on Hector, mostly because of his defensive deficiencies that he has, and they showcase themselves in some games. And today, I think I only saw it once. And in this type of game, I think that was going to happen. But on the offensive side, I think I liked what I saw. Nenny made it easy for Partey, who gets my honorable mention. I think Partey, I don't think we've seen he's got a lot more to offer.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of growing into the team, going into this game, going into this style that he's going to have to play. And he's only going to, if he does what Gabriel's done and get better each time we see him, I think teams are going to be in trouble, right? And when he decides, I can do a lot more. And also, I think when the players get more comfortable giving him the ball in that middle area of the team, right? I mean, I don't think they're comfortable doing that just yet. A lot of times I think they kind of want to take the very easy pass as opposed to the one where, he can get into, I think, in the middle of the field and maybe make some, make the defense kind of collapse on him. And then we've seen him time and time again make those passes where there's somebody on him and he just makes a nice pass either between the legs or around them to his partner. And I think that's only going to happen more and more every time we see him, which is what we've needed, right? In that midfield, we need somebody who calms everything down. The ball goes to him, and it just everything slows down, and it looks really good. And even if he makes a mistake, he's going to clean it up as soon as he can. And he did that today as well. So Partey's not there yet, but I think because we haven't even seen what he has to offer yet, I think he's got a lot more. Yeah.
I think he's very good at transitioning through midfield, carrying the ball, and gets us out of trouble a lot of time. AWL, so it was a typo, and that makes me feel a little bit better that I didn't know what AWL meant. All these cool kid abbreviations these days, shorthand. My hero knows all that shit. I don't.
Hey, I'm not that young, man.
You're the youngest. He's the youngest here by country mile, right, Stan?
He's the hippest.
Thanks for the compliments, guys, man.
Yeah, I don't see any gray hairs on your face, so.
No.
But yeah, basically, when we need to know what the word is, when we need to know what the word is on the street, we go to Mahir.
Yeah,
he knows what's going on, man.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So listen, we move up from, I think it was 13th place. It was looking pretty bad at the start of play because we were one of the last teams to play this weekend, to 8th place, sort of where we finished last season. So let's try to go up from there.
Tottenham have gone ahead.
I know Tottenham are 2-1 up. I'm looking at the table right now, Stan. There, it doesn't make pretty reading. They're in their second place.
Yeah.
We're in second place. So let's talk about. We're going to review the Premier League now, and then we'll circle back around real quickly for the Arsenal game. But yeah, let's enjoy these 3 points today because we want to be involved in the top half of the table, not in the bottom half of the table. And there's some teams like Manchester United down there. Leeds are actually 12th now. This shows the parity. Gary, go ahead, Stan.
It's just all the more galling for me that when you look back at the Leicester game and you think, why couldn't we have got the 3 points there as well?
Yeah, we were talking about that last week. When you buy a marquee player and put him in the team after 5 games, you need some time to settle in. You're going to lose the game. And that's probably what happened at Leicester because we had 3 midfielders that were doing the same thing last weekend. So, Gary, parity in the league. We've got Liverpool first on 16, then Tottenham 14, Everton 13, Southampton and Wolves 13, also Chelsea in 6th place on 12 points. And then Aston Villa, Leicester, and ourselves all on 12 as well. So we've joined Chelsea now. And we're, 4 points off the top. That's not bad after 7 games in terms of the program we've had.
Yeah, and like you said, we've got the best defense there. And, if we're only going to improve as we play better, hopefully that goal difference goes in our favor and we're able to get some more wins out of this. So, you look at it and there's, 14 or 15 teams with, I guess it's 13 teams with at least 10 points right now.
10 points,
So, this
10
point gap
teams.
there. Yeah.
There's 9 teams that are 2 wins away from Liverpool right now after 7 games, and I don't think Liverpool are walking away with the title this year. I mean, it's up to the rest of the teams to put together a sustained run. But Tony, what do you see around the league right now?
And it's pretty even. I still think we should be further up the table than we are. I think we should have got something versus both.
Like a good pint of Guinness, the cream is starting to settle towards the top, right?
Yep.
All right, let's get into the Premier League review. Matt here, we're going to talk about Wolves Palace. What did you think of the Wolves Palace game?
Okay, the score was, just inform me of the score.
2. Wolves got 2 goals. I think it was 2-0 in the end.
2-0. I mean, with the side of Wolves, personally, I actually really like that team because they've got a coach doing all the right things, a really lovely team in all its glory in general, like in all positions, very well balanced, and I think 2-0 suits Wolves versus, like you say.
Crystal Palace. I think they were unlucky. Stan, I don't know if it was that game, but have you seen the VAR drawing these lines?
I mean, I've not seen any other football this weekend apart from our game. But, on the actual VAR, the drawing of the lines and all of that, I mean, if you're going to have to resort to that, like fine margin and you're looking for, nasal hairs to see whether someone's offside, then they're not offside for me. And they're not offside.
I saw something where they were drawing parallel lines for the feet, and then they went from the elbow, and it was not a vertical line. It was a skewed line to the elbow. They're trying to show a narrative here, I think.
Yeah, if you're going to go that far, I just don't think then it's not offside for me. If you're having to go to those lengths and spin the pitch around 360 degrees and this, that, and the other, then
Yeah, and there's no reason to make the game perfect because they're not going to correct every play. So, with that in mind, it shouldn't take that long. It should be pretty clear that someone's offside. You're not trying to correct. You're not trying to make the game perfect. You're trying to correct some blatant errors, right? You can actually see the guy's foot clearly behind, or you can see it really easy, right?
Maybe if that could be a yellow card that they're giving a red card for, like to review that. Like, wow, that was terrible. Nobody saw it. Well, let's go back on it and check and give the right decision. Not meant for a nasal hair, like Stan just said.
Yeah.
I love that from the Assemble. My first game was 72 Cup final. Less of the young, please. So, and that's the thing. We don't know until you guys tell us that, right, Gary?
True. Yeah. No, like I said, in regards to the VAR, I think it's being implemented incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know in the past they've given a red card to the wrong player and then they corrected it, right? And those types of things are things that you want, and you want them to correct on the field, so you're not affecting the game negatively by putting the wrong player out on out of the game. So those things make more sense to me, but and then it also means that the referees that are already bad don't even have to, they don't even have to put their flag up or even think about it now because it's going to be looked at, right? Every goal is checked anyway, so what's the point, right? And what are they doing out there if they don't even have to call it? Exactly. It affects especially when it's pretty clear. So now you have an extra set of, the play goes on for a little bit longer, and then you have these negative effects, right? Van Dijk's not here because of certain things. If they put the flag up, even if they were wrong, that probably never happens, right?
Yeah. I even saw an offside today. That's clear offside, but the referee continues till Gabriel makes the challenge.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
With the VAR, I mean, if all the key decisions are going to be made over at Stockley Park, is there an argument then that maybe the best referees that we have, rather than having them out on the field, they should be the ones watching the screen?
How many of them do we have?
Do you know
how many good ones do we have?
But you should have the better ones then, I suppose, watching the VAR screen. If that's where the key decisions are going to be made, and you just need to have maybe a lower tier ref out on the pitch with an earpiece taking instruction.
Because you know what, Stan? They are deferring their judgments to those people anyway.
Yeah.
They're not taking control of what's happening on the pitch at all.
Yeah. And they probably don't even realize that their power is being taken away from them, right? If somebody said, you know what, I want to have somebody do your job for you, you don't feel like your job is threatened, then that's probably the point. That's probably the issue right there. It should be a sign, right?
I'm gonna bust on my here a little bit. It's like the young ones who need a calculator now to add 12 and 16. You know what I mean? Looking at you.
Well, they got it in their phone now, right? So
yeah. Okay, Tony, let's get to Sheffield United versus City. Manchester City slowly getting their ship in order, Tony. 1-0 win against Sheffield United.
They're slowly getting their ship in order, still starting a lot more sluggish than I thought they would. I thought they'd be the one to win the league and get up over Liverpool this season, but doesn't look like they will.
No, it doesn't look like they will, does it, Stan? We had a Kyle Walker daisy cutter to win that game against Sheffield United. I forget that you said you didn't see any of the games, but Sheffield United have been playing quite well. They tested Liverpool quite well last weekend, and they give City a good game as well. So I think City are reviving themselves slowly but surely, and they play Liverpool next weekend.
I have been wondering myself how much of the way that football is being delivered now without having crowds in is really affecting games, because some of the results that we're seeing and some of the performances that are quite surprising at times, sometimes it's almost like we're seeing a glorified training match in some games. And it's just the lack of that atmosphere. Sometimes you see a lack of sharpness and vigor sometimes from some of the players. I mean, it's a new way of watching football, and I tend to watch it with the crowd noise in the background, just to give me a little bit more of that kind of match day feeling. I know some people don't like that. For me, if it didn't have that, I'd be like sat on my sofa falling asleep. Yeah,
I remember, Stan, George Graham used to say, get the crowd going, give them something to shout about, because then the crowd will get the team going as well, and it sort of snowballs that way. You know what I mean? But Gary, Manchester City possibly putting some kind of form together now. They're not crucifying teams anymore. They're going to win 1-0. This lends to the parity we're talking about as well in the league.
Yeah, no, definitely. Sheffield United actually looked good in their last game out, right? So we expected to see the same thing today, and we did. Man City just was able to have a little bit. They have a little bit more in their tool chest, and they were able to.
A little more pep in their step.
Yeah. So.
Get it?
Definitely.
little pep in their step.
Good play on words there. Yeah. So. We expect Man City and Liverpool, right, to, just because of who they are and who they've been for a while, they may drop back to us, but they're not going to fall flat on their face, right, when they play. So if you give them opportunities, then they're going to take it, and you're going to get punished for it. I mean, I think we saw that. I don't know if you're doing what's the next game you're doing, but we saw that in the Liverpool game.
I think we're playing Aston Villa next, right?
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's Aston Villa we play next.
Who, by the way, we're looking around the league, and you get some surprise teams at the start of the league. Everton and Aston Villa, who get some great results, and now we're sort of plateauing a little bit, edging down. Mahir, going to give you Burnley versus Chelsea. It looks like Chelsea are getting their act together.
I mean, you'd expect them to get their act together because they've got 200 million worth of talent. I mean, I would have loved Ziyech to be at our club. I would have taken Werner at our club. I would have taken, there's 3-4 players that I think to myself, you're welcome. Just come right in, step into the carpet. I mean, And this is what happens now. Now they're gelling together, getting the form together, and 3-0, I mean, is what you expect for somebody like Chelsea. Although I must say, guys, this season has to be the most unpredictable season in the Premier League
Yeah.
in a long time, or if ever, because big teams are getting slapped up by small teams. Guys that you're not expecting to win at all. I mean, even I've been playing prediction, like a prediction competition, basically where you can win stuff by predicting a lot of matches correctly, and I am failing miserably almost every week because I'm saying City or Liverpool are gonna slap up some team like 4-0, and then guess what it is? It's the opposite direction, or it's a
Yeah.
1-0 Sheffield United and a 0 to Man City. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Tony, speaking of exciting, and the assemblage just told us Spurs have closed out that win 2-1, so they're second now after 7 games, winning 4, drawing 2, and losing only 1. But Liverpool against West Ham. Liverpool are not running away with the league, Tony.
No, and I didn't think they would this season, but they are doing better than I thought they would without Van Dijk so far.
And
Hopefully,
they have a nasty habit of conceding the first goal in every game.
yeah, they've been doing that. Hopefully, they start losing and dropping more points.
Yeah, Stan, looking around the league, you would say Liverpool are the better team, right, Stan?
Yeah, but they've got some key injuries, haven't they?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to run away with it this year. And
No.
and the way that the way Liverpool fans and the player and even the manager have been acting about some of the losses of the players that they've had, it's almost like they've given up the ghost already. I mean, the first game after Virgil van Dijk got injured, I was surprised I didn't have like a minute's silence for him before kickoff, because the way they ran on about him, you'd think that the guy had passed away or something, you know.
Yeah.
And they've let that, was it what Wijnaldum was on Talk Sports saying, like, that he's been unable to sleep because of Virgil van Dijk's injury. He can't get to sleep at night. I mean, they've let it get
It's not like,
didn't they?
not like we've seen some leg breaks at Arsenal. That's more horrific than something that would have happened to Virgil van Dijk. Look at Eduardo's leg. Look at Aaron Ramsey's leg. Look at Diaby.
And when they don't win the league at the end of the season, that will be the excuse that they will use.
Yeah. How tight do you think it's going to be, Stan? Because I did a Gunnar reaction video with Tanner. I think it was for the West Ham game, second game of the season. I said, hang in there, Gunnar fans, because we've got a tough first 10 games. I imagine we'll be about 10 points behind Liverpool after 10 games. Well, doesn't look like we'll be 10 points behind Liverpool after 10 games, does it?
I think that maybe this season could be another one of those seasons where, similar to the year when Leicester won the league. Maybe a dark horse could push their way through. I think Manchester City, they're still going to be up and around it. But for me as well, Manchester City, they look like a team that needs a little bit of a refresh in some places, a couple of new faces here and there to freshen it up. Yeah. But it's early days, right? It's only been 7, but there's in my mind, I keep thinking, I wonder if we're going to see another one of those leagues, where Leicester kind of like managed to sort of like tiptoe through all of the chaos that was going on around them and finish in first place.
Yeah. Gary, how do you see it, Gary?
I was just saying, who would have thought that at this point, 7 games in, Everton would be 3rd, Southampton 4th, and the Wolverhampton 5th. And Everton had lost 2 games in a row, right?
Yeah.
That's 2 games in a row, and they're 3rd in the league, right? I mean, they're struggling right now, right, as far as their form. But
we'll tell you, Liverpool fans are pretty happy now. We beat Man United, and Everton have been beaten as well.
Yeah. So I think it'll be really close. I think whoever's the most consistent, in their style and form will hopefully, will rise to the top. And of course, hopefully that's us. So we continue to show that we know what we're going to do. Does it work every time? Not always, but as long as we're improving along the way, that'll be good for us.
For it to be us, Gary, I think that Arteta's got to try and open it up a little bit more and be a little bit more attacking, because this game, while we did win it 1-0, it didn't have a lot of attacking intent on both sides.
Well, I mean, like I said, even if we improve, maybe we win these games 1-0, but we have control, right?
Yeah.
I think when we lose control, that's been our problem. Is the
That's
little
what
lacked
Arteta
in,
wants.
concentration, and the teams punish us every time.
Yep.
Today they weren't able to, right? I mean, they did get some opportunities, which happens. It hits the crossbar and all that kind of stuff that happens, but we didn't have any of those lapses today where they had a really good chance at goal, and I'd like to see that continue.
Gary, continue with Aston Villa Southampton. Southampton leading 4-1, and the last few minutes, I left it at 4-1. I was like, that's it, it's over. But
I kind of joined that for the end there, and when I first looked at the score, I saw the 4, and I was thinking, is that like the ranking or something? What's going on? What's that 4 doing next to Southampton's name? It looked out of place to me when I first saw it. I didn't really think of it as being the score. And that was in the first half, right? So I was like, wow. Then I watched the game and I'm thinking, I think I've seen this before. A team goes up pretty big early, and then the other team starts to work their way back into the game, and that's exactly what happened, right? They worked their way back into it, and we're able to score 3 goals. And I mean that the Grealish goal, I know they were saying the goalie didn't even see it, but it looked like the goalie kind of was like he had given up or something. It was just like the ball just rolls in. He didn't even know it hit the back of the net by the time the shot was off.
Who was the goalkeeper?
For
Armstrong or something.
Yeah.
For Southampton, the Southampton goalkeeper.
Yeah.
It was one of those where he took it really quickly. Wayne Rooney used to do those quick shots. Goalkeeper wasn't even set or ready for it. But I think we play Aston Villa next. Are they on the downward curve, Tony?
Yeah, they're starting to fall down. They started off brilliant, and now they're coming back down to earth. Hopefully we can put a performance together and get the 3 points we need.
And right about this time, next week, that game will be finishing. Mahir, Newcastle, Everton. So Everton are heavily reliant on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, DCL. I always struggle with that name. And James Rodriguez wasn't there today. Mayor?
Yeah, James. I mean, he's been a fantastic, what a fantastic way to bring back form. Your old form, his old form of playing for Real Madrid, the form we saw him in the World Cup playing for, I think it was Colombia, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to see a lot of these teams who start off brilliantly, but eventually fall down to the bottom of the table. But I don't think Everton is necessarily on that level. They may fall to more or less from 10 down, or really compete after losing maybe 1 or 2 games and going on a run. They can try and maintain, maybe try and get a Europa spot, if I'm not mistaken. Who knows?
Yeah.
I personally think that that's going to happen.
The last game that we just saw, Stan, I'll give you Spurs 2, Brighton 1. Unfortunately, Spurs win. They're second in the table with 14 points, just 2 behind Liverpool. I don't want to be talking about Tottenham in terms of a title.
Yeah, I just think that at some point they always run out of steam anyway. They have got a very small squad, so they may be in second. They may be in second place now, but I don't expect that to be something to be maintained.
I don't either. I hope not. All right, so welcome in Lumbercamp. Thanks for joining us as well. We're going to go another 10 or 12 minutes here. Take this. Let's just round it up now in terms of our ambitions for the season. And Gary, you're talking about us getting possibly better. You want to see it every week. improvements. We definitely saw improvement from Leicester, which was not great, to today. And take up Ray Anderson's point here. I think we can remain unbeaten through November. Aston Villa, Molde won't be so bad, but Aston Villa and then Wolves at home and Leeds away. Tough games, but not terrible games.
Yeah, I think we'll be rested for those as well. So I think just like this game, I think we'll see a lot of players resting. So we'll come into those games with we won't have any taxed players like we did going into that Leicester game, right? I think the Leicester game kind of proved to Arteta that he's going to have to expand his bench and his squad and get the young players out there playing because he needs his seasoned players, his starting 11 to be ready to play weekend and win, the weekend games this go around. So I think we'll be rested. It's just, whatever, what alignment are we going to have? Who's going to sit out based on this game, and, are we going to see improvements from that by, who sits and who goes? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible for us to go unbeaten during that month. Especially if we're able to rest our players and then come in, and not have to worry about any health issues, which I think is what kind of hurt us a little bit, right? So, so it's definitely hurt us in the Leicester game.
So I'll go to Stan and Mahir next because they weren't here. Actually, Tony, you weren't here with us Thursday as well. So let's go with you, Tony. What would the question I posed on Thursday night was: are you worried that you're seeing two different sides? And I'm going to pose this to Stan and Mahir as well. Tony, are you worried that we're seeing two different sides being put out for Europe and the league? And Unai Emery did this last year as well. And as we said earlier, there's no ambition for young players. Reece Nelson plays well, Joe Willock plays well, but they don't get into the squad today.
Yeah, to me, the whole time Arteta doesn't seem to favor Willock at all. He has barely got one or two Premier League starts maybe since Arteta's came in, which is ridiculous because Emery was playing him all the time, and I thought he was doing pretty good. I think it's disappointing, but young players aren't getting more of a chance in the league. Arteta definitely seems to favor the senior players, gives them the chances to play even if the young players go out and do well in Europa or the Cup games, which they really don't get much of a chance because he's been fielding pretty strong teams in the Cups.
And Tony, are you worried about a player like a Joe Willock who's busting his gut to get out there and play well on Thursday night, but not able to get into the team on a Sunday?
Yeah, it's bothered the whole thing. Just came in, he's never gotten a start. Emery was playing him all the time. I think he deserves the starts or at least to be on the bench to go out there and get a 30-minute run in and prove what he's got. Hard to be hungry and prove what you have when you're just sitting on the bench or sitting at home and not getting the start.
Stan, there's two ways to look at this. You can have two tracks of two different teams, and you can keep everybody fresh within the squad. But how do you keep them motivated if they're only playing Europa League and not able to get into the Premier League on a Sunday?
I don't think our fringe players should be having to bust a gut against a team like Dundalk, to be fair. I think it should be a walk in the park for them. And I don't say that just, I just, it's a different
You don't
level.
say that because I'm Irish.
It's a different level of football. Do you know what I mean? And they should be putting in a good performance against a team like Dundalk, and they should be able to go and put in a good performance against Molde as well. To be fair, but anything anything can happen in the game. But I'm enjoying seeing some of these fringe players getting these minutes in these group games in the Europa League. Because if we didn't use them, we wouldn't know. How are we going to know if they're good enough? They have to have minutes. And I'd rather them be here and playing in those cup games than away out on loan somewhere and maybe not even being selected while they're out on loan. It's a waste of time. And, sometimes it's a little bit like out of sight, out of mind. You forget about them. I want to see these players. I want to know. Let them keep playing well. They shouldn't be despondent that they didn't get picked for the league. Do you know what they should do? They should go out and do it again and force the issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it gets to a stage where you can't leave a certain player out.
Yeah. Now, if I say to you, I see a similar pattern to what happened last year, We had a dynamic team in the Europa League, but kind of dour football in the league. What would you say to me? It's not the same thing, different
No,
situation.
I don't think the football this season is as dour because, as I said earlier on, I'm seeing really nice patterns of play, but we had a problem with the final ball. But the play was good. It's not dour. It's not dull.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And
Yeah.
I don't think the play today was dour or dull. And even when there were times when Manchester United were able to string a few passes together, we were able to contain them.
Yeah, I saw today some good play, some good interplay. We're just missing that final ball. You know, Hector Bellerin slides that ball across the face of the box. Aubameyang just misses it. Mahir, I know you were enthusiastic about last year about seeing the kids in the Europa League. What's your feeling now between the Europa League and the league? As Gary said and Stan has said, we've got some easier games against Dundalk and Mold, and I've been even saying let's use these games because they're easy games. They're close to us geographically, and we're able to keep our Premier League team fresh for these games that we won against Manchester United today.
Like the guys just said, we need to give them a shot. We need to see what potential they have. I mean, even players like Emil Smith-Rowe, for example, who knows, he could solve our creativity problem in the number 10 role.
Yeah.
Like taking over from a guy who just sits there on his couch with all his sponsors and whatever and plays Fortnite. Yeah, like I say, give the youngsters a
Give the youngsters a shot. Yeah.
who knows, they could force the issue. They could force the issue of coming into the first team squad and actually making a difference, playing with passion for this thing here that's close to the heart.
Steve Denham, thanks for joining us. You're always here. We appreciate it. I know Davy Crockett appreciates it too. He was wrestling a bear. He had a bear sandwich earlier, so you got to check that out, Steve. The French players should be putting in good performances no matter what. It comes down to attitude and players' temperament. Be patient. Their chance will come. There'll be lots of games to come. So, Tony, let's round this thing out. We'll just do final thoughts now. A great win today against Manchester United. How do you see November? It is November 1st. How do you see November shaking out for us?
Hopefully we finish the month with just nothing but wins. I think we're a little bit behind where I thought we would be. I thought we'd be further up the table. To me, we just go get the wins we should be getting and finish the month off strong.
Well, what are we on now? We're on 12 points, right?
Yep.
And I forecast 18 or 19 points. So that means we've got to get 2 more wins in these 3 games for me to be right. And you know what? I'm going to toot my own horn here. I tweeted out saying that I had a good feeling we'd win today. And check it out. I did say that. Stan, what's your feeling for the rest of the month? Unmute yourself there, buddy. Professional that you are.
Sorry
How do you
about
expect
that.
the brand to grow if you don't unmute?
I just think that looking at the fixtures, especially the 3 that we've got in the league, after how we played at Leicester, I don't think that we can take any of those games lightly at all. Because I honestly thought going into the Leicester game, I just thought that we were going to be on a slight upturn, and it wouldn't be a problem. So I think the Mold one, I don't have a problem. I think that we can go there and get what we need to do. But Villa, Wolves, and Leeds, don't just think that we're going to just walk in there and get 9 points from those 3 games.
Well, look at it right now. Wolves, Villa, those 2 are ahead of us in the table. Villa's on 12, and Wolves are on 13 points. So it's really equal footing, Gary, right now. Leeds are on 10 points. That won't be easy against Bielsa's team.
Yeah, our next 3 games are against teams that are either trending upwards or just been maintaining what they've done what we've seen so far. So hopefully we're trending upwards as well, and we start this one win, and maybe we'll get, my key is we need to just get points in these next 3 Premier League games. Pick 1 or 3. I don't mind. I think they're pretty tough games to begin with, so the more, the better we get, the more opportunities we have to at least get points out of games on our bad days than 3 points on our on our really good days. So.
All right, we're just going to leave it here with Gundam News' comment here. Bloody Wi-Fi reception. Stan and I are like twins, early and later that day. I think he's talking about the yellow shirt. Love and appreciate you all, the panel and the Arsenal fans for family. So listen, 3 points today. We're all happy on the inside. We're smiling on the inside, right, Tony? We beat Man United, and I think that's a good thing. First time in 27 games or something ridiculous like that. We won away from home. So hit the likes, guys. We need 3 more. We need 6 from 9 from these 3 games. Really tricky one versus Wolves. So that's about it. We'll close it out here, and do join us on Thursday night. We'll be back with another episode. And thanks for watching, everybody. Slap a like, hit the subscribe if you're new around here. I know half of you lot watching live or on the rewind are not doing it. It's absolutely free. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
All right, see ya.
We got